Okay, so for my card today, I wanted to use the rustic crate. Now, not the stamp set, but the die set because it is so stinking cute and it makes this super cute little crate. I'm also going to throw in a little sentiment here from the Heartfelt Hexagon stamp set. This is the stamp set that is brand new for, I just said it, World Card Making Day. Good grief. Now, this is definitely a card that would cost you $1 million to make. But you might already have some of these things. You might have flowers already, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to give you some ideas of what you could maybe do with some stuff that you either already have or, hey, if you want to order it from me, I'm not going to say no. So there you go. So we are going to be using this beautiful, delightful floral paper. It is a new paper that was added to the online store on the 6th of September. Now it coordinates with the translucent floral bundle. It does not cut out the flowers. I thought it did, it should, but it doesn't. So we're just going to have to go with that it coordinates with it. And there you go. Now I don't have that stamp set, but I had to get the paper because it's beautiful. So these are the one sides, and then the other sides are just like watercolored prettiness. Look at that. Look at how pretty those are on the back sides. So amazing. So the paper is $12.50. There's 12 by 12 sheets in the package, 2 each of the 6 different designs. So there you go. So that's a paper I'm going to be using. I'm actually using this on both of my projects today. So we're going to start out with a basic white card base. This is thick basic white. I do like to use thick when I'm making a card rather than the regular white, because the regular white's a little bit thin, and the basic white is definitely a thicker, more appropriate cardstock for a card base. I also have a layer of the Designer Series paper. Now I'm just going to use this as a whole layer. Now you could, if you wanted to, cut out the middle. I'm not going to because I have enough of the paper. I have enough paper to last me until well, a couple of lifetimes actually. So I'm not going to be too concerned about cutting out the middle, but we are going to be covering most of that up. So I know it's a sad day, but it's got to be done. Then I have kind of a scrap piece of paper because I'm going to be adding 3 more strips of that fun paper to this. So basically this piece is only to kind of help me put all these together. So it's not even going to show. It's just kind of like a base where I can add my pieces. So I am going to flip all those over, and then I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm going to add liquid glue to this piece here. And this is actually a piece that I was using a couple weeks ago. And then I ended up not. So it was like going to be for Halloween. But anyways. Okay, so I've got a tiny bit of extra paper here, but of course, not a big deal. I am just going to cut that off. So I'm just going to snip in here. Trying to come out. There we go. Okay, so these strips are, what are they? They're 1 1/4, I think, by 5. Yes, 1 1/4 by 5. And then this is, so now this is 3 3/4 by 5. And then this is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And that's going to be our kind of like backing layer. And so you can see there's just a tiny bit of excess there. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to that layer. And I might as well just continue using the liquid glue. I'm going to add some dimensionals to this piece here. 1 in each corner, 1 in the middle. That's our main card base, no problem. Now, I wanted to share with you the little rustic crate die set here. So we're actually just going to quickly fold up a crate. So I just use these 2 pieces here. They're the 2 large crate pieces. I'm not adding any extra goodies to it or anything like that. But so here's the 2 pieces. This one definitely has the detail, You can see the embossing that the die puts into that, which is really cool. And then this piece here, and we are going to fold these little edges up towards the front. It seems weird, like you should put them to the back, but they definitely go to the front here. And I am going to do the little burnishing trick with my bone folder, just to make sure that they stay. Okay. And then I'm going to add glue, and I'm going to use liquid glue just because that's going to give me some time to mess around with this and make sure that it's positioned where I want it to be. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue to these little flaps. And these little guys here. Okay. And basically what we're going to do is these two things are going to go there. This edge is going to go on these two. And then of course the bottom pieces. I've got this Band-Aid, and you know how it is trying to work with a Band-Aid? It's almost impossible. Almost impossible to do anything with a Band-Aid. I actually need a Band-Aid on my thumb too, but I thought I just cannot. I cannot do a live show with a Band-Aid on my thumb because you can maybe see it's split. Ugh. That's what happens when you're handling a lot of paper, and I've been handling a lot of paper, getting ready for all these classes, and a lot of times when I do that, yeah, I get the splits. This is early espresso, Cheryl. Thank you for asking. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I've also got a circle from the circle, what are they called? The deckled circles. And this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sixth one from the middle. So it actually measures about like 2 7/8 of an inch diameter is what that is. So it's the sixth one from the middle. And I did crop that out of just white cardstock. And I'm going to put my little crate on here, but I don't know what color I want. Taking the paper florist dies, and I did crop out some of these little goodies here. So I've got this large set that's going to actually go on the inside of the card. And then I have these 3 little guys here with these and with these little middles. Now I'm going to assemble the flowers like this, which is fine, but I want to make sure that I can see that. So I have a little scrap of white typing paper here, and I'm going to color these little guys with my Berry Burst light. I think this is light. Yeah. My light Berry Burst Stampin' Blend marker. And that's going to give these pieces just enough color, or, you know, what is the, like, not ombre, but a different shade of the same color so that it will show up better when I glue everything together. And I do this a lot. It's a great tip. If you're wanting to have like a darker shade of cardstock for something, definitely do that. Definitely get your blends out and add some more color. Because now look, depth. Thank you so much. That is the exact word I'm looking for. So now look how much better that looks than plain. It definitely gives the whole thing something, right? So I then would take one of these little circle doohickeys, and these are all dies in the Paper Florist dies, and I would add this one, trying to center it. Okay, and so I have done that a couple more times already. So we can go ahead and stick these back into the little container. So I have 3 of these little flowers here. I'm going to do the same thing with the large one because, like I said, I am going to put that on the inside of the card. So we'll go ahead and just color this. And sometimes if you want to do it, you can color your cardstock before you die cut it. If this is kind of difficult for you, you know, to hold on to it and all that good stuff, you can definitely die cut it before you, or not die cut it, you can color it before you die cut it. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes when I'm not really thinking, stuff comes out of my mouth. It's not what I mean to have come out of my mouth, right? Okay. Back card, I am going to go ahead and add a little strip of glue here. And then I have a strip of that same paper. This is about 1/2 inch wide. So I'm just going to add this to the bottom of the card there. And then I'm just going to add my little flower. Because why not? Then I'll have the same thing going on the outside that I have going on the inside. And I will snip off the excess paper here. Okay. So now I've also taken the leaf die and I have cropped out some leaves out of Lemon Lime Twist. So I've got the same colors in the designer series paper as I have in my cardstock. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to bring in our crate. I think I'm going to glue the crate down to the circle. And then I think then I can kind of shove all the flowers and everything inside of it. I feel like if I get it on there first, then I'll have a pretty good way to get all these in. So I'm going to add a little glue to the back of these leaf pieces. I don't need to add, I don't think, a ton. I think just enough. So that leaf piece is going to kind of hang out that way. This little guy is going to kind of point out the other direction, and I'm not getting any glue on this. What is going on? There. Okay, and then this one, I'm going to push the other direction. You can sort of see that going the other direction. And then the flowers, I think I'm going to add those with dimensionals. I might need to use minis. Well, wait a minute. Where are my big ones? Let's just see. I'm not sure if the dimensional is going to be too big, if it'll show. You know what I mean? I do have that little circle. Ugh. I think that's not, I think that's going to be too hard. So I am going to go with these minis. Okay. So I've got one flower that I kind of wanted up there. And then I have another flower that's going to be a little bit below. So kind of lower like that. And then these leaves, I may need to snip these off because it's too much. Yep, that's good. We'll just add a little glue. And I see somebody said they have trouble with these really small dies, and I do too. You just have to, I don't know, you just have to kind of roll with it, I guess. And then that one I'm just going to kind of tuck under a little bit. So I don't need a dimensional for that. I'm just going to add some glue here and then just kind of shove it underneath the rest of them. So then we have our 3 flowers, and then I think I'm going to add this with just glue because I already have a lot of dimension going on. And so I'm trying to do this top to bottom, and then I'm going to add my Feel Better Soon right next to it. And I just thought that was kind of fun. Who wouldn't like to get that card if they're not feeling so hot, right? Okay. And then we have some of these amazing sequins. What are they called? They are called Adhesive Backed Sequins Trio. And I thought we would use only the what's that blue color? Peacock. Wow. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know what I'm doing or what I'm talking about. Okay. And I think I'm actually going to use like quite a few of them because I just feel like we need a few on here to just kind of add a little extra oomph to this card. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're going to maybe go 7. I don't know. One there. And how about, if we stick it over there, that might be too much. How about 2 down here? If I move this one just a skosh like that. Okay, that's a lot of bling, but I think if somebody's sick, they deserve the bling, right? Okay, so then on the inside, like I said, I have that stamp from the hexagon stamp set, and I'm going to ink it up in the Berry Burst, and it says, sending you lots of love and hugs. So who wouldn't like that if they weren't feeling very good? And you know what? I just got a bunch of ink on here. So I am going to try to get a chamois and get that off, because I know what's going to happen. If I don't get that off, that's going to end up on my card. And I think I'm just going to do it right down here. Sometimes I do this. Sometimes I put my sentiments down here at the bottom. Oh, yay, it worked. And there you have it. Let me get my hands cleaned up. And you know what else I thought we could do if we want? Oh my, what's that? Oh, that's the piece I cut off. You can also, if you want to, you can kind of fluff these up. Like if you were going to hand deliver it to somebody, say somebody was in the hospital or something like that, you can fluff these up and really give it some nice dimension. There we go. So how fun is that? Look at all that dimension on our flowers. So much fun.